And here we go. Bottom right-hand corner of Whirlwind. Wearing the purple trunks. It is Azubu viOLet. I do such a crummy Total Biscuit impersonation.
I really don't have a good English accent either, Ben. Don't worry about it.
Azubu viOLet.
Azubu viOLet.
And in the blue trunks, in the top left-hand corner of Whirlwind, it is Alicia. I feel like
is
that's
that
how
really how
it.
John intonates
That's
his voice?
what he would do it.
He's basically like calling him back for dinner. He's like trying to get his attention over the hill. Alicia, time for dinner. Welcome, guys. This is really interesting from Alicia. He's going to place a pile on top of his high ground. We've been seeing Protoss players experiment more with this.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily rushing for a kind of gateway, but just placing the pile on top of the ramp in case they need to do anything. But look, he's going for a gateway. We saw this in Huck versus Dongrygu just a few days ago, Ben. Which clearly was one of the funniest series we've seen.
I'm sorry. I was just, I really, in the early moments of the game, I loved just kind of tapping out, checking out the chat, seeing what they have to say. And one of our chatters made a really hilarious joke and said, "Friends are like trampolines. I've always wanted one." And I thought that was hilarious.
That's like hilarious in like a Forever Alone way, man. So it's like, oh, I feel so bad because he said that. Like, I'm not sure if he meant it or he's just making fun of himself.
Well, either way, Alicia gets the nice scout up into viOLet's base, sees nothing out of the ordinary, and knows that this will at least begin to unfold like a pretty normal game.
You're my friend, right, Ben?
Of course, Dan.
Okay. So at least I have one. Chance is also my buddy too. Well, Chance is everyone's buddy. It's like I feel like Chance would be one of if World War III ever comes out, I know the perfect ambassador.
Chance?
Chance.
Ambassador Chance?
Yeah. Like, and he would be representing USA, and everyone's like mad at the USA because they want them to pick a side because obviously whichever side USA's on, they win.
And in the diplomatic discussions and you know, treaty dialogues, he would say, "Yes, this is dog."
He's like wags his tail and like he like gives you his ball, waiting for you to throw it. He would make a lot of world leaders a lot less angry. That's for sure.
It would be a simpler time, Dan.
Now we've been seeing a lot of gateway expands to kind of pressure Zerg to basically make them second guess whether or not they can really squeeze out maybe the 4 Zerglings that they get initially to control the map. And viOLet, I mean, he's not going to really break the standard. He's a guy that's able to put on aggression at all times of the game. That's pretty much his MO as a Zerg player, but I feel like Alicia is going to be the one putting lots of aggression.
Yeah, I like the way I see this panning out for Alicia, Dan. This kind of very greedy third base is hard to get away with against gateway expands because Warp Gate's so accelerated, because Protoss has so many options. Now, Alicia doesn't know that that third is down just yet. He's going to walk up here into the natural. He is going to see, "Hello, Queen," and might take a couple shots at her. But I do not think, yeah, he still has absolutely no idea about that third base. If he spots it, though, I think Alicia could do a lot to pressure it as we see him throw down 2 more gateways. It's going to be a 3 Warp Gate Protoss player here against viOLet with no ling speed, with no gas at all.
With no scouting information. He doesn't even know. Like, if anything, he thinks this gate... Oh, well, now he's starting to scout it, but he might think initially, like, oh, that gateway might be just for the Forge Fast expand. Very delayed. And instead, viOLet realizes, oh, okay, well, I need to make a lot of units. He makes 16 Zerglings because he knows a lot of pressure is incoming.
It's a pretty good reaction there by viOLet. I think a spine crawler at his third base would also be worthwhile, and actually we are going to see him queue that up, so I think I can completely agree with that decision. Alicia hates neutral supply depots.
No, this is really good. A lot of Protoss players always kind of neglect it as part of the wall, and they really could utilize it. They actually killed their own pylon and some like stuff before they even killed a neutral depot sometimes. So Alicia's on top of that, although he's warping in a lot of sentries. This is very interesting.
Oh, he's going to go like 6 gate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will we see a 6th gate go down? That might just be 5 gate with a ton of sentries.
This is like a weird build that, not a weird build, but it's weird in the metagame because this is an old build. Like, players like Huck used to love to do stuff like this. 5 gate sentry aggression. It was like Zealous Sentry on maps like Metalopolis. And that was where he made like a bunch of his deep runs in MLG because no one really could hold off that kind of aggression. This is so throwback retro, but I'm really curious to see how it's going to do.
Well, it's got 2 spine crawlers at that third base. That'll help a lot. His ling speed not quite ready. It's a minute away, so we'll see if in 60 seconds he's able to muster enough units to defend this. We do have pylons going down as Alicia begins to work his way across the right side of the map. viOLet's only making drones right now. Dan does not have the Roach Warren, just started the Roach Warren, in fact.
No, but he knows. He's got the entire scout off on the main base. He sees the amount of gateways early on. That is way too many, especially considering he doesn't have a forge in his base. So this is a huge attack from Alicia. Just wants to kill off this third and just get a huge lead, maybe even push into the natural. But this is the primary target. 3 spine crawlers, 4 spine crawlers is in production. Whether or not we can see viOLet defend will heavily depend on whether or not these sentries can get the proper force fields off. And viOLet does bait out 2 thus far. Very nice.
Spine crawlers are a very important first step. viOLet's done a great job of establishing what he's playing against. Also going to catch a couple of zealots out, and every single unit is of critical importance. Stalker's going to be caught as well. Great play so far from viOLet. Alicia going to go ahead and start the push forward. Roach Warren's done. viOLet can start to make those critical roaches, and he
Surrounding
will.
sentries. Ben, this is huge play. Alicia would benefit so much by utilizing these sentries. So 3 with the 4th about to drop. There's still a couple of spine crawlers that are working on all the units, but there are a lot of reinforcing Protoss units. viOLet has to evacuate 11 roaches in production, and this is just the power of being able to rush so fast. I mean, at the 8-minute, 9-minute mark, you're normally used to 4-gate pressure, but this is coming with so many units and a lot of sentries. viOLet now trying to move his spine crawlers. He's trying to fight for his third bed.
He wants to save this third base, and I think it's a good decision. If he loses it, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back here. Good force fields again by Alicia. Spine crawlers trying to root, and one of them being completely force fielded out. This hatchery is going to fall. Excellent play there by Alicia to pick off the hatchery, but will it be enough to win this game? Spines are done. Roaches and lings will stream out and will kill the remainder.
I think Alicia needed to do a little bit more damage than that, but I mean, he did kill off a lot of workers. But he doesn't really have tech. I mean, he's got a Twilight Council, but he doesn't really have upgrades. viOLet is also taking up to Lair finally. I feel like Alicia is slightly ahead, but I think he could have done a little bit more damage if he wasn't so careless with his sentries.
You know, I don't mind Alicia's position so much. He's done massive damage to the economy of viOLet. viOLet's only on 33 drones right now. He's going to try to retake this third base now, but can't even afford it immediately. And behind this, he's getting Blink. I love the Blink follow-up. The one thing that I'm worried about is there is no forge. There are no upgrades. And I don't think Alicia has any plans of taking a third base. I think he's just going to go all in with Blink Stalkers.
7 gates is going up now, right? So he's going to go 7-gate Blink as like a very delayed form, but he realizes he's up in the production compared to his opponent. And just going to go for a follow-up 2-base attack.
And it'll be a very interesting 2-base attack. viOLet's trying to reestablish his infrastructure. I love that he's immediately going to Infestors, which is, of course, the ultimate answer to Blink Stalker. But is there time to get those Infestors out? It's, I think it's just, quite frankly, a matter of seconds before Alicia gets aggressive once more. And viOLet's infestation pit's still not even complete. He has to research pathogen glands. He has to actually build the Infestors. That's perhaps a tall order. Blink is done. Here come those Stalkers. A couple of them are going to be caught out in the open. Nice control there by Alicia, blinking away from the Roaches and Lings. Here we go. First major fight unfolding out in the middle of the map.
There's just too many Stalkers that can blink and trap. viOLet's Roaches are as good as dead. There's no point in really trying to salvage them. And Alicia just has to blink all right enough so that he fights cost efficiently. viOLet's upgrades are all still not done. And viOLet can't even hold his third base. He's going to have to fall back again to his natural.
Once more, this third will fall. Once more, Alicia will assert his economic advantage. 45 probes to 40 drones. 2 bases to 2 bases as soon as this hatchery goes down, and it is absolutely going to go down. But pathogen glands is being researched. Those Infestors are not that far away. viOLet does have a big bank of gas. If he can make 4, 5, maybe 6 Infestors, then maybe maybe he can make this happen. Here come the Stalkers up into the natural expansion of viOLet. Will he be able to get this?
The
Oh,
Stalkers are in
man.
an awesome spot, though, and Alicia's supply of Stalkers is so high. He's blinking them very cost efficiently. GG. Game number 1 goes to Alicia.
Very convincing. And while Alicia did a lot right, I think the ultimate outcome of that game came down to viOLet's opening. He went fast 3 bases against a gateway expand, and I do feel like that's asking for some trouble. The game was brought to you guys by Squarespace. All the tools you need to build an exceptional web page of your own, available over at nasl.tv/p/Squarespace.
Check it out while we take a quick break and get ready for game number 2 between viOLet and Alicia. A battle for second place for Alicia, or will viOLet be able to sweep his division clean? We'll find out right after this.
Welcome back.
That's where my GG button went.
Chance rocking the GG button down on the ground.
That's right. Crocky rocking the cast the desk solo. His mouth is open and salivating for game number 2 between viOLet and Alicia. What's going on with Crocky though? He just seems like things are not really going that well for him.
Crocky is loving life, dude.
I think he's feeling the weather change, man. It's been raining here in Rancho Cucamonga, California.
He's old and arthritic.
His teeth are starting to rot. He needs dentures.
No, man, his teeth are in fantastic shape. You know, I met Sancho Panda at MLG.
Yeah? Does he have awesome teeth?
I was not examining his teeth.
Oh, I didn't know how you were going to like, I don't know why you brought up Sancho Panda. We were talking about teeth.
Because he gave us Crocky.
Oh, that's right.
Man, you are just... You're dropping the ball left and right today, Dan.
No, I'm dribbling the ball. I'm pushing it down and it's coming back up.
You're dribbling the ball to the wrong side of the field.
No, I'm doing a crossover, Ben. You're just not keeping up with me.
That's I actually, you know what? I think that's the problem.
Ben, let's go play ball tonight. We haven't played basketball in so long.
It's been a while.
It is. And I think now we're getting in better condition where we don't play 2 points and we get tired after that. Like, our biggest problem with Ben is that not our coordination or even our skills. We actually have some really nice teamwork. We're able to like score some points on fast breaks in basketball. But our biggest problem is we're up like 4-0 and then we just quit until the rest of the game. Like the game's to like 11 and we're like up 4-0, like 4-1. Great start. And then we always just run out of gas and we just play no defense.
That's a true story. It's always kind of frustrating because you're like, man, I can't believe I'm losing to these noobs. But the fact is, those noobs have better cardio than us.
Yeah. Yeah, like at our levels, it's not even about like who can shoot better or who anything. It's just about athleticism.
It's really like an amateur fight. It's not who can punch harder or who has the better moves. It's who can breathe the longest.
who just has the better will, like the stronger will and dexterity. And I think we should man. We should play basketball against them sometime. And meanwhile, these guys are having their own battle of mental strength and will. StarCraft is very much a mental game as well as a mechanical game. Wow, Alicia pulling out all the old stops, man. All the old stops.
You're going to see the forge?
Better see the forge.
Yep. And that pylon placement is for naught. He's not going to be cannon.
Yeah, you actually can't make things in this corner of Daybreak, by the way. Like, I don't know if you ever knew that, Ben, but like there's actually like hex, there's like little blocks that prevent you from making stuff. Like, you're not allowed to make a cannon here. I found that out like the hard way. One time I got like 2 pylons up.
I found
like,
that
yes!
out the hard way. I was trying to cannon rush.
Yeah, I found it out the hard way. I planted 2 pylons, and then I couldn't build anything. I was like, yes, he doesn't see it. Now's my time to plant pylons. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Does he have a burrowed Zergling this early on? I'm like, how is this possible?
Do you know in Brood War you didn't have to have layer tech to research burrow?
Yeah. That was actually really cool. There's lots of really interesting things. Like, Overlords were detectors. Like, so how did Dark Templars ever work in Protoss Reserve, right?
With Corsairs.
I know. It's just really interesting to think. If all Overlords are detectors now, like, Dark Templars would really never work. Inca would be smacked down even harder.
I think it'd just be a matter of players having to find different ways to make them work. And let's be frank, they don't really work that well now.
That's true. DTs, they're a little bit too costly nowadays because your transition out of them is too punishing.
One of the reasons they were so strong in Brood War is because when you had a Templar archives, you had access to both High Templar and the Dark Templar, so you didn't need 2 different tech structures.
That's true.
So you weren't, committed to one path or the other. You could take both.
Don't you think Dark Templars would be kind of too powerful though if they kind of combined those again? Because then like DTs can warp in across the map and you can just transition to High Templars very easily.
I think in the current state of the metagame that it's hard to say that's a bad thing.
That is true. I actually wouldn't mind that either myself, but maybe Alicia will surprise us. He has gone Dark Templars in the past. In fact, that's how he beat Idra, if you can remember Season 3 on Daybreak. He opened Dark Templars into 7-gate Blink. Almost kind of a repeat of what we saw in the previous game where he went for like a early pressure into a 7-gate Blink. Alicia going for a quick Robo instead. Now, Alicia does have pretty savage 2-base timings in Protoss versus Zerg. That's what he admits. That's what he sticks to.
Yeah, and we saw 2 of them in the last map. So one map, two 2-base timings, using the 5-gate to crush the 3rd, and then switching right over into some Blink Stalker all-in action. This time it's going to be some sort of Robo play out of Alicia. I don't think the Robo all-ins are that good on Daybreak. I think he's probably thinking Robo Expand, which viOLet's going to be very comfortable with.
Yeah, I think viOLet feels a lot more at home this game, especially since he sees the gas timings a lot quicker. Whirlwind was just such a big map that by the time he got his Overlord across, he didn't really he saw things a little bit too late and was not able to prepare accordingly, especially with such a delayed Zergling speed. Meanwhile, viOLet does have two Evo Chambers coming up, and he's gassing at his 3rd instead of his main. This is kind of cool. Just spending your geysers early on to at a more... I guess to hide information.
Makes it harder to scout things,
yep.
Which is always very, very nice to see. Guys, if by some crazy turn of events you're just now joining us, this is Week 9 of the North American Star League, our final week of gameplay, and we are trying oh so hard to determine who our top finishers will be in Division 3. After this game, I promise we will take a moment to recap the entire division. So we will have a graphic prepared.
That's
so
right.
You guys will be able to see the standings as of this exact moment.
I'll bust out my clipboard, and we'll go everything. Professor Ferdinand will break it down for you.
Cool. We also have a couple more games still to come after this. Rhett versus Hasu, still to be played from...
Division number 1?
From Division 1, that's right. And also Hyun Naniwa.
From Division number 2. I am on top of my... You see I'm dropping the ball, Ben. I am crossing over, and you just can't keep up. Division number 1 was won by Polt. Our producer's like firing off rapid trivia questions to keep us on our toes.
Yep, we are finally
Division number 2 was won by Hyun. How do you even ask me that? This guy is trying to confuse me.
We are finally starting to see the entire playoff picture. Alicia's actually going to go for the Robo all-in. It's going to be Immortal Sentry all-in on Daybreak. This is one of the hardest maps in the world to make this work on. And for this very reason, viOLet is all over it. And he's like, what up, Sentries? I got Zerglings.
Yes, and he's hiding it because he's going to flank it. He's going to flank his opponent, and the Zergling from the Watchtower sees everything. And the best part about it is that viOLet has creep both ways.
He's going to bait it, sends a small group of Lings up to kill the pylon. He's going to set up the big surround. He's actually going to, I guess, wait for a few more units to come out, just that perfect moment. He's got to be careful, though, that he doesn't wait too long. If Alicia gets a couple of big warp-ins, it's going to get a lot harder. But he's done a great job of shutting down the probe. That means no warp-in pylon. That means the warp prism is the only means of reinforcement that Alicia is going to have over on viOLet's side of the map. viOLet buying so much time. This is already shaping up to be a beautiful defense.
+1/+1, it will finish as well, pretty much negating this +1 attack from the Zealots. And that's just gonna be a lot harder for Alicia. He's gonna force himself up the natural ramp. This is a very bold move.
Going for it all the way into the natural.
Force fields are too late. There's too many roaches engaging, and as a result, a lot of DPS is pouring onto the Protoss army. viOLet is also safe against the Zealots, because of the conflicting force field. So viOLet does have to wait for another round of units, but he should be all right considering that he now has drones pulled as well. Alicia also getting flanked from some of the units from the third base. But I feel like he shouldn't be able to do this.
Warpin's coming. This is getting a little bit dicey as Alicia's army is very, very strong against roaches. The Immortals, oh, great micro by Alicia, picks up one Immortal, but viOLet is sending his Overlords over the top, making it harder to micro.
Wow. That's actually really nice. Able to really confuse his opponent in that way. Alicia kind of misfired with his AI. I guess the Stalker's kind of attack move and was a little bit complicated, kind of like how Colossus attacks buildings randomly. Alicia is chased all the way outside. It's very far, but viOLet doesn't care. He's just going to try to confront the army and kill off whatever he can. This all-in will not work as Alicia is losing almost too many units, just a couple of Immortals left.
Right now, viOLet's like, where are you going, Alicia? Dan, he's going nowhere.
You're going nowhere.
As these last couple of Stalkers will get caught up out of position. Roaches and Ling's going to push forward. Alicia's going to try to make something happen with his Immortals in this Warp Prism, but it's going to be really, really hard to do. Back at home, there are sentries behind that wall, but I don't know how much Force Field is going to help against this onslaught of units. Alicia's not producing any more Immortals, and his wall is crashing down. Cybercore is dead. Immortals still being active in the third base.
This is a really tough...
Warp Prism gets shot down by the Spore Crawler.
Alicia trying to... all the attention is focused onto his wall here at the natural. He's done a pretty good job holding it thus far, but there are no more cannons. He's very weak to the roaches that are just poking things down. Alicia's still trying to hold on. He's warping in another cannon. He's waiting for another Mortal to come out, but the funny thing is that even if he does pops out, it's still a really tough spot to hold because viOLet can just pick off the fort and slowly work his way in. viOLet's still making roaches, but now he's also starting to drone and get an infestation pit, and I think things have finally stabilized enough for Alicia.
Yeah, amazingly, Alicia kind of holds, but it's hard to really call that a defense given that his attack got smacked and he just barely stayed alive through the big counterattack. viOLet's still on 3 bases, still has superior tech. He immediately drops the infestation pit. He's going to go on up to about 60 drones, and we'll probably see a couple more rounds of drones before it's all said and done. And, you know, honestly, Dan, Infester's pretty much the ultimate answer at this point. Even if we see Alicia get a couple of Colossi out, viOLet is going to have so much production, so much economy, and such great freedom to just take map control and deny Alicia from doing anything. Taking bases, pushing, Alicia is kind of trapped.
Yeah, I mean, viOLet's in an awesome spot. Now he's getting even 2-2 when Alicia hasn't even really focused on any upgrades whatsoever, and that will help a lot. Alicia's starting to work on that pylon wall that was trapping his units into the main. Alicia needs to start thinking about a third too, and viOLet's been really mindful of that. He says, well, shouldn't he be taking a third? It's around 15, 16 minutes in the game.
Alicia can think about it all he wants, Dan. Actually taking a third base is going to be a completely different can of worms. As viOLet has infinite flexibility, his Infestors are on the way out. He has solid 3-base saturation, so he doesn't have to actually build another drone. He doesn't have to build another hatchery. He can just make units at this point, and pretty easily he'll be able to max out. Third Nexus still not down for Alicia. He very clearly wants to take it, and viOLet, I guess, is going to let it go for now. He is just going to take bases at this point, opting for the more passive macro route, and hey, why not? He basically has a free pass up to Broodlords right now.
Yeah, I think you can just take a 4th base, easily get up the Spine Crawler wall, save up the gas necessary to make a huge army that's just going to be incredibly hard to break through. And then viOLet's just going to be able to laugh all over Protoss's army if they try to do anything a little bit overextending, because Alicia still has so much ground room to make up, because after he gets upgrades like Blink and like +2, and even +3. Then he needs to get a mothership. Then he needs to get Archons, and all kind of stuff he's going to be doing when he's kind of on 1 to 2 base economy, because his main is going to be mined out very soon, considering how long it's taking him to get this 3rd base. And viOLet really will never allow Alicia to get a 4th base.
It's a great catch by Alicia. Finds the army of viOLet and kills all of it. That's actually a huge catch. That's a lot of lost supply at a really awkward time. viOLet wanted those units so that he could safely transition over to Broodlords, but he's going to need something on the ground to keep Alicia from attacking or to actually challenge that army. He's going to try to counterattack with some Zerglings here, but Lings are not really the bread and butter unit that you want against Colossi.
Nope, not at all, not in the slightest, Ben, as the Colossus at +2 pretty much one-shot Zerglings until they get enough carapace upgrades. We do see that Blink is about to finish for Alicia, which means that his ability to push for 3 base is still pretty substantial. If he can build up to that 150, 160 supply. This is kind of a weaker version of the 3 base push that we always see Creator do, considering that Alicia doesn't have +3. He doesn't really have Blink ready yet. In fact, he doesn't even have that much stuff, but who knows what's going to happen. viOLet does have Fungals, and that's going to give the Colossus the lockdown so that the Corruptors can just completely annihilate them. viOLet also still has a couple more Fungals left, so it's going to be only Stalkers left. And I think with the rallying Roaches, that's going to be enough for viOLet to hold. Alicia's supply is dwindling incredibly fast.
Actually, one key point here, viOLet has +2 armor on these Roaches, so they are living for a long, long time, allowing him to clean up this army. And just, honestly, barely he cleans that up, but he still cleans it up. He still buys himself the time. Now he's up almost 90 supply. And any sort of additional aggression out of Alicia is going to be very hard pressed. Big fungal lands on a lot of those Stalkers, and that means that Alicia will take some heavy losses and be forced once more to retreat.
Yeah, Alicia really can't keep this up. I mean, viOLet is just so strong. He even has a couple of Infestors still making. He's got 6. He's getting Hive. Alicia has no transition. He can't even defend his 30. He's not even mining gas from it. And Alicia's going to lose everything. And this was his opportunity to go 2-0 and make a strong case for himself for 2nd place. But at least he's going to have to at least wait one more game, Ben.
Yeah, it's not looking like he's going to be able to take Daybreak, Dan. Hive is almost done. Greater Spire is shortly going to be following. viOLet not trying to press the issue. He's just going to sit back, chill out a little bit. He's going to wait for his Broodlords. And yeah, I don't want to call that the wrong idea, Dan, because he has absolute freedom to do this. And when the Broodlords are out, that's when the game is in the bag.
Yes, the game is in the bag. It's double bagged at this point, man. It's you have so much security in the game that you can put it in twice, Ben. That's what I always do at the grocery store. If I order 2 jugs of milk, I always double bag it.
Good save, Dan. Roaches and Corruptors coming forward for viOLet, and Alicia's going to try to scramble into position, but with only 1 Colossus and not a particularly high number of gateway units, I don't think there's anything he can do. 180, 190, 200 Zerg supply. That is more than enough to deal with this Protoss army, even with reinforcing Colossi coming out. Greater Spire is also finishing up, so viOLet can make Broodlords in just a couple of seconds. Great game from viOLet, and another Zerg win on Daybreak. GG gets called.
Well done by viOLet, as he holds the push a lot stronger this time around. Just like you said, Ben, it's a little trickier to pull off that kind of Immortal all-in on Daybreak, especially if you enter through the natural. I mean, everyone tries to focus on the 3rd and work on that direction, but Zergs have gotten really good at that, spreading creep, getting good surrounds, making sure they're safe. But as a result, like, you just exactly what you said, Ben. It's almost too hard to pull off.
The real key to that defense was how much time viOLet was able to buy for himself with his Zerglings, running around, catching pylons, catching stray units here and there. Honestly, if you're ever struggling against Immortal All-Ins, the key is buying time. And viOLet, he bought a lot of it. Game's brought to you guys by GoToMyPC. Hassle-free postage from your PC is Stamps.com, but remote access to your computer from anywhere on the planet is GoToMyPC. It's been a long night. NASL.TV/P/GoToMyPC is where you can check out that software. We're going to be back in just a second, guys. Game number 3, Alicia versus viOLet.